From footballers to cinema stars, everyone is still out on the streets of Kolkata demanding justice for the rape and murder victim in Kolkata, a young doctor's killing and sexual assault stirring the conscience of India. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo Story. Our relentless focus on this horrific crime continues. In fact, we've reported no other story through this past week. As we said, India is jolted by what has happened, and in particular on the streets of Kolkata, unprecedented scenes have been witnessed. Doctors are protesting, yes, but over the weekend, we also saw the supporters of arch football rivals. There you see them, Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, come together in a joint protest so vociferous that eventually the derby had to be called off. Calcuttans say they've never quite seen scenes like this. Meanwhile, 70 Padma awardee doctors have also written to the Prime Minister asking for his intervention. As the protests continue, our newsmaker today is filmmaker Aparna Sen. Aparna Sen was among the first public figures to show solidarity with the protesting doctors. This, even as the victim's father is now alluding to the fact that the body of his daughter was cremated in haste. Mojo Story has also been looking at the inquest report and the horrific details that are emerging from that. Aparna Sen is our newsmaker on the program this evening.
So, Aparna, I want to start by asking you, we all saw images of you being among the first public figures to come out and show solidarity with the doctors' protests. It's been several days since then. Are you at all feeling more hopeful today about justice being served? What are you thinking today?
No, I'm not feeling more hopeful, Barkha. I have to tell you this. To start with, I have to tell you that my politics is entirely issue-based. And what I've been noticing is that, there's been this terrible tragedy of this woman who was raped and killed in her workspace, which she thought was safe. But now it's becoming all about political parties, and they're like a pack of wolves tearing away all of them at one piece of meat. It's terrible. It's just shocking the way the political parties are behaving. And also, Barkha, our CM, Mamata Banerjee, seems to have backed herself into a corner because the things she's saying now, she's saying things like, I will have them hanged in 6 days. Who are you going to have hanged? Who are the culprits? We don't know yet. We don't know who the culprits are first. That has to be found out. There has to be a trial. You can't just have street justice, You can't just hang people without a trial, without knowing who the culprits are. And why is Mamata trying to, that's the way it appears, that she's trying to shield, trying to protect the Sandeep Ghosh. Sandeep Ghosh is the principal, or was the principal, or is still the principal. I don't know. He was transferred. He was brought back. I don't know what's happening at that end. But what I'm saying is that we want justice on the streets. It was all very thrilling in the beginning. But this can't go on ad infinitum. Something has to happen. I mean, the CBI has to complete the investigation. It has to be a completely impartial investigation. And frankly, I'm not even convinced that it's going to be impartial.
So let's start with the protection of this now ousted principal of this RG Kaur College where this rape and murder takes place. We know a few things, right? We know he didn't file an FIR that night. The court has asked why. Yeah. We know that instead of being sacked, he's actually transferred to another college where when the students protest, you have 2 TMC politicians come and try and persuade the students to allow him a new job. We know that a government lawyer defends him in court till the court has to ask, why is this man so powerful? Why? Yeah. Why is he being protected? We know that the parents of the victim are lied to by the college and told that their daughter died by suicide. We know these things as fact, right? We know these things. These are facts. Right. These are not opinions. These are facts. When you look at that, when you look at that, what does it make you think? That obviously somebody very powerful was trying to shield him, connected to the ruling party of West Bengal.
No, that's completely obvious. He should have been immediately sacked. I don't know why he wasn't. There are a lot of stories going about. They're not verified, Barkha, but they seem to be coming from the students, from the doctors, but nobody's sort of owning up to, the source of the story. But the stories that are going around is that there was a nexus. This doctor was extracting money from every which, source. And this girl, the girl who was killed, she apparently threatened to expose this nexus. After which she was threatened in many ways. Her car was, vandalized. And then finally, when she didn't back down, then, they wanted to teach her a lesson. And this is what happened. This is what it ended up with.
So, of course, we can't, by law, take her name. But yes, she's being referred to as Nirbhaya 2 or Abhaya. But I also find this kind of forced fearlessness foisted onto victims or survivors of rape a kind of, a kind of romanticized idea. There is nobody who is fearless about being raped, about, when you look at the details, of how her body was found, it's just blood-curdling.
It curdles your blood. I swear, and even now I'm getting goosebumps to think of the way her legs were. Then they said her pelvic is broken. Then they said her pelvis was not broken, the pelvic girdle. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah. So you see, but hang on. You said, you opened by saying that you feel like the politics of all parties is now potentially sabotaging the truth. But let's step back. When women stepped out to reclaim the night, not just in Kolkata, but across India, to compound this crime, if anything could be worse, it was the suspected cover-up, and then the vandalism. You have a few thousand people marching into the RG Kor College and breaking everything in sight, including the emergency room. What did you make of that night?
I didn't know what to make of it. See, logically, it seems that TMC, Trinamool Congress, is the only party to really gain from that, because if they were trying to destroy evidence, then that was the way of destroying evidence. So it seems like, one can't say anything without proof, but it certainly seems like they had the, greatest motive. Isn't it? Yeah, tell me.
No, 2 of the men arrested are said to have TMC links. Mamata has blamed the left and the BJP. They have blamed her. As I said, 2 of those arrested do have TMC links, according to media reports. But we are waiting for the truth on that. Now, my question to you is, when you say today you're not hopeful, you actually echo what the parents of the victim are saying. They're now alluding to the fact that the cremation was done in a hurry. That is what the father of the victim has said. Go ahead.
Of course. Why? To start with, there are many questions that are not answered, Barkha. Why were the police so intent on immediately doing a postmortem, and in the very same hospital where this gruesome rape and murder happened? Why and under whose instructions did they call up the parents and say that this was suicide? How can anybody look at that body and say it's suicide, for Christ's sakes? There's no way you can call it suicide. You can call it unnatural death, but not suicide.
Just to be factual, the police didn't say that, but the college authorities did. And we now have the parents on record saying that the first phone call goes saying your daughter is sick. The second phone call goes saying it's suicide. And the third then the parents come and they see what's happened. Now, Aparna, you said that your politics is issue-based. There are those, who say, well, Aparna Sen used to be a Mamata supporter, today, from which perspective is she speaking? What would you say to them?
I would say to them that what happened was that a whole lot of us, including towering intellectuals of the time, protested against the killings in Nandigram. And of course, yes, there was a big procession which everybody joined. People were just joining from the street. It was a huge procession. And people, sort of towering intellectuals like Shanko Ghosh, Amlan Dotto, Mahashweta Devi, Namonita Deb Sen, who was not there? Rituparna Ghosh, Anjan Dotto, everybody was there, everybody. But we didn't vote for Mamata to come in. I mean, there's no way that I wanted Mamata. I was just wanting, to protest against this violence in Nondigram. But this was, well, CPM, the left front went out of power and Mamata happened to come in. She obviously hijacked this protest also, and she got political mileage out of that. That is a fact. But then that doesn't mean that we are supporting Mamata. We're not. I've been protesting against wrongs done by the TMC from day one. From day one. For the Park Street rape case, if you remember, Damayanti Sen being transferred unfairly, all of that. I mean, one of the Kamduni rape incident, then the doctors in NRS, when the doctor's skull was fractured. The doctors were on the streets. I was with them. I was at College Square protesting against the Kamduni rape. I mean, this is all nonsense. This is nonsense.
When you saw Mamata Banerjee leading a march, and the home and the health portfolios are with her, and a lot of people wondered, what is she marching for? Who is she marching against? What did you make of that moment?
I found it completely, it's one is all stumped. That's all one can say. Who is she marching against? Herself. I don't understand it. And then demanding that whoever the culprit is, I mean, nobody knows yet who the culprit is, but that person should be hanged within 6 days. How can she say something like that being the CM? Surely there has to be a trial. Surely there have to be culprits. Surely there has to be an investigation. How can you say something like that? I mean, she is also, as I said, backed herself into a position, Barkha, where it's very difficult for her to extricate herself, I think.
Do you think this is her Nandigram moment?
It could be. It could well be. But I worry also about some things. Like, Mamata is not the point. The point is that TMC forms a large chunk of the India alliance. So what happens when TMC goes? There's President's rule. There's a BJP government coming, or there's elections and nobody knows what's going to happen with elections. It's very, very messy, very confusing.
Well, the politics are certainly confusing, but let's end with returning to the victim and talk about women.
Yeah.
Among the slew of new measures announced by the Mamata government, some are welcome and overdue, like, the spaces to rest, toilets. It's just shocking that women don't even have separate toilets in our colleges. But among the measures
why did they ask? I want to ask a question. Why did they start renovating the toilet immediately? They hadn't done it for so long. Why this sudden rush to what was it? Is it a way of destroying evidence? What is it?
Yeah. So
then, that poses a question.
Yes, allegations of evidence tampering have persisted through this, but one of the advisories from the state government is that women doctors should, as far as possible, avoid the night shift. Now, this is the opposite of reclaim the night, and I just want your thoughts on it.
I mean, this is ridiculous that it tantamounts to admitting that we cannot give security to our women. That's what it's tantamount to. We do not know how to give security to our women, our transgender people, and therefore we are asking them not to do night shifts. That's ridiculous. That's just pushing people back into, I think that's the RSS way of thinking, actually. Just push them back into the kitchen.
But this is coming from Mamata, not the RSS.
I know. But I'm saying it's that way of thinking. I mean, it's a completely regressive way of thinking. How can you say something like that? You're admitting that you can't take care of our women. Yeah. So say it. We don't know how to take care of our women.
Let me end by asking you to tell the rest of the country the sort of sentiment in Kolkata. We saw something pretty unprecedented over the weekend. We saw supporters of arch football rival clubs, Mohun Bagan in East Bengal, come together in a joint protest to demand justice, the kind of scenes that you thought you would never see. If you had to look at those images and explain, this is what's happening in Bengal today, this is what men and women are both feeling, what would that be?
See, I would say that it's a tremendous sense of outrage. It's a tremendous sense of outrage, but I do not see any evidence of any kind of clear-headed structural thinking. I see a lot of outrage, which is thrilling, which is wonderful. I support it with all my heart. But I also feel that there is a lack of knowing what to do.
Yeah. Like it's kind of anchorless. It's kind of anchorless agitation.
Yeah, it's kind of anchorless. I mean, here film directors are taking out a protest march, which I couldn't join because they said no, you don't. In fact, I was asked not to join it. I was asked not to join it because it was a very long march and it was raining cats and dogs. And I had gone. Okay. I had been the first to go to Arjikor anyway. So I have said my bit. I've put out videos and so on and so forth. But now there's a march from the theatre people. There's a march from political parties. There are a march from various kinds of, groups of people, doctors, other people, other groups, colleges, that kind of thing. So it's all, but where is it all going? I want to know, where is it all going? The one thing that everyone keeps saying is resignation of the CM. Fine, resignation of the CM is fine, but then what? Then what? That I want to know, because I myself don't know. Then what? Then is it president's rule with the BJP-led government after that? Is it mayhem like post-Hasina Bangladesh? What is it? It needs a lot of planning and thinking, structural thinking.
As a woman, as an activist, as a movie maker, as a kind of eminent face of Bengal today, what is your hope? What would justice look like?
Barkha, I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Justice would demand, first of all, that they have to investigate why it was stated that it was suicide. They have to explain. They have to find out who vandalized the Arjikor hospital. It was terrible. I saw those the footage. It's terrible. It just makes you feel so angry. But who did it? Probably everyone says. Many people think that it was TMC. TMC says no, it's BJP, it's CPM.
Yeah.
Why would BJP and CPM want to do it? To discredit this TMC? Why? Why would they do it? The thing is that nobody yet knows. I mean, people guess, people make intelligent guesses, but there is no verified, there's nothing verified. So that needs to be verified. You need to have an investigation to find out who vandalized this. That's what I would say. Start with that, because then that might lead you to who in whose interest it was, and that might lead you to the culprits. So also find out. Apparently they found a diary, some pages of a diary of the dead doctor,
the victim.
The rape doctor, the victim. They found a diary. Maybe that will give us some clues. I'm hoping that will, if it has been found, because you keep getting messages forwarded on WhatsApp all the time, videos forwarded on WhatsApp. We don't even know the source of it. We don't know how true it is. We're just getting information. It's like an information overload without it leading anywhere.
Yeah, I think the problem is that there was such an absence of communication and transparency in the beginning that rumors started occupying that space. And now the cases with the CBI, I hope the CBI communicates. I hope there are regular briefings from the CBI, because otherwise, a lot of rumors also acquire a life of their own. We leave it there, Aparna Sen. It's a painful and angry time for women, for doctors, for men and women across India. Thank you for talking to us, and thank you for being out there supporting the protests of the young men and women out on the streets. Thank you.
I always will. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.